Hey everybody, this is Nick from MechaWarehouse, and today I thought I would do another kind of helpful tip kind of video. It seems like of the video formats that we've done, the tips and behind the scenes inside the warehouse have done kind of the best, and I really want to provide you guys a lot of value. So one of the things that people ask all the time is, hey, when is kit A coming back in stock? Or, everybody's out of stock of this, can you get it? And to kind of address all of those at once, I figured I'd put together this video. What a lot of people don't necessarily understand about the gunpla industry, things are not always produced constantly. Kits are definitely produced in batches. So if you look at, you've got a runner, right? It's got some number of parts on it. This is produced in some sort of injection molding machine. They've got a mold, they put the mold together, they put the plastic into the mold. The plastic hardens into that shape, they pull it out, they close it back up, and they do it again, rinse and repeat, probably thousands of times per day. Those molds can't be changed super rapidly. I don't know what the time it takes for Bandai and the machines that they use, but I would have to imagine changing molds is a relatively time-intensive process. So as a result, they're going to run that mold to produce that one kit for a length of time before they decide to switch gears and make something else. So what that means is that they're going to produce a kit for a while, and then they're going to produce another kit. How often they change and which kits they decide to do are obviously going to depend on how they have forecasted that customers will buy a given product. So if something is constantly out of stock but gets bought up immediately, they're going to produce that more frequently. They might even produce it constantly. I'm not sure if that's the case for anything, but they're going to be making batches of that kit on a very rapid schedule. Something that might not sell out super quickly and take a lot longer, they're going to produce less frequently. So some kits might get a batch every month or two. Some kits might get a batch every 6 months, every year. And some kits might get produced every several years as they determine that there might be enough pent-up demand to make it worth making that kit again. This is what leads to everybody, all the US stores at least, being out of stock of a kit at basically the same time. Some will hold on a little longer. Maybe they decided to buy a few more copies of a kit than everybody else did. But generally speaking, if one shop or if all the shops are out, that means that there hasn't been a production run in a while, or at least not recently enough that everybody has stock. So when you are wondering that question, or wondering, hey, Nick, can you get that kit? Oftentimes the answer is immediately no. So when I say immediately no, I don't mean like I'm saying immediately no. I mean that at that moment, if everybody's out of stock, that means there are none to be had unless there's been a production run recently and it's on the way in, which is very well possibly the case when you ask. One of the things that I see as a shop owner is I get to order from Bluefin. Bluefin is the main US distributor. We've talked about this a few times. Part of the way that they do ordering for some of these kits, they obviously have kits that they know are coming in. You can buy the kits that are available and that they have on hand, but they also do a reproductions order from time to time and let people place an order, or when I say people, they let shops place orders for kits that haven't been produced yet in anticipation of them being produced, and they use that to help determine demand. But the big disclaimer they put out when they release that list is that some of these kits might not get produced at all if there isn't enough demand, and they can't guarantee when they get produced. They're just going to get stuck in the schedule when it makes sense based on how many have been ordered. If one shop is out, or if all the shops are out, I'm probably going to be out too. You might be able to find a pocket of kits somewhere where maybe one shop bought a few more and happens to still have a few on hand. What this means, though, if you can't find it, you have a couple options. One, you can go on a place like eBay or some other peer-to-peer shopping selling network and try to find one. This is why you often see kits that are out of stock. The prices start rising on them. People will sell them either out of their backlogs or out of a stock that they just happen to have, and they'll raise the price because they know no one else will have them. I refuse to do that, partially because I'm lazy and don't want to have to engage the market to try to increase prices on certain kits, but more importantly, I think that's kind of unfair to the customers. The other option you have, though, is just to wait. And we've seen some kits that haven't been manufactured in years pop up There were some, which series they were. There were definitely some kits that popped up recently that hadn't been made in a while and kind of have been popping around. Someone might know if you know of any of those runs and want to post in the comments. I'd be glad to see that discussion of kits that hadn't been produced in a while and started popping up again. I know we didn't necessarily get in on some of those, but at any rate, there's a lot of stuff like that. You basically have to decide how badly you want something. If you really, really have to have it, jumping on it now, finding it somewhere and buying it makes sense. If you kind of want it, you might just want to wait because it could come back around again at a much more reasonable price. It's kind of like P-Bandai. And so that leads me to the discussion of P-Bandai. P-Bandai is kind of the same way, except they only really plan on doing 1, 2, 3 runs of a kit usually. There were definitely some P-Bandai will use the high-grade Leo. There were two Leo variants that were out there. There was a Space Leo and a Flight Type Leo. Those two P-Bandai kits had multiple production runs because they sold out really fast. So they might sell out really fast in April and then decide in, I don't know, July, August to do another run. We will see that probably with some of the other P-Bandai kits that are on there. If they sell out super fast, there's money to be made there. That means there's a lot of interest. If it takes longer to sell out, that means there's not as much interest. We also have seen P-Bandai kits come back from an extended period ago. A good example of this is the Gundam Wing kits. Those molds are very expensive to make by comparison. I mean, they're not super expensive necessarily, but I think good molds can easily cost thousands of dollars, $5, $10, or more $1,000 to make from my experience in product development. And so they're not going to just throw those molds away unless the mold is no longer usable because it's degraded, broken, or whatever. So they probably keep those molds on a shelf somewhere waiting to bring them back out. And that's what they did for P-Bandai USA, knowing that there was a opportunity to sell those kits again, that there's a lot of demand. So there's always that chance of the P-Bandai kit as well. So you're always going to have that risk when you go to the secondary market and buy a kit that it could come back. Now, in this case, it was probably like a 10-year gap. So for most of us, that's a lot of time to wait. I had some suspicions about the Gundam Wing P-Bandai kits, which is why I didn't buy them myself on the secondary market and waited for the P-Bandai offering that came up a few months ago. So, but we don't know. And I think there are some other kits. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Jesta Cannon, for example, show back up again. We've already seen a bunch of clear versions in the Expo thing. I would venture to guess that the some of the really popular P-Bandai kits, especially ones that are fetching huge premiums on eBay and the like, might come back. But you don't know, and I don't know. I have no insider information other than my observation and my own gut feeling, and not a whole lot of history to go on. So anyway, without rambling on too much longer, that's basically the state of things. If there's ever a kit that you're looking for that you can't find, hopefully this helps you figure out what to do about finding that kit, and whether or not you should wait and make that decision for yourself. So anyway, thank you for watching. Hopefully this was valuable, helpful, informative. If it was, please hit that like button. Help other people see this video, and definitely subscribe. We got more content coming. Lots of good stuff in the works, and I'd love to share that content with you. So thanks again for watching. See you next time.